Hey, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to discuss the natural single plane swing, and I'm going to do it today with a hammer. So there's no better feeling knowing that when you wake up in the morning to go play golf, so that you're going to play well. So my mission today is to help as many people as possible wake up every day feeling good that they're going to go out there and play great because of the single plane swing. So as we get into this discussion about the single plane swing, Moe Norman, and why this is actually the most natural way to hit a golf ball, I'm going to use some props here to kind of demonstrate this. But one of the things I want to mention before we get started was actually the psychology of this. And some of you have, you mentioned on my channel, you talk about certain things and you ask questions. Then we debate and we get into things, and that's all fine. One of the things about me is I don't try to convince anybody to swing on a single plane. I just put the information out there, I demonstrate it, I show you how it helped me and all the thousands of students I teach, and let you guys make your own decisions. But I do want to say something about when I first met Moe, what he told me. And it was interesting because, of course, I was very curious about learning Moe's swing. I wanted to learn as much as I could about becoming a better ball striker, become a better golfer and all that. And I see Moe, and we have this discussion about his swing. And so I walked up to him and I said, "Hey Moe," it was the first time I saw him do a demonstration. Actually, I have a video of the first day that Moe was hitting shots, and I walked up to him after the clinic, and this was the day that I met him, and I said, "Hey Moe, that was amazing. You're the greatest ball striker I've ever seen," and he really was. "How did you learn to do that?" And what he said was, "Believe in yourself." And I thought that was interesting that he actually psychologically talked to me first before he started showing me some things about his swing. Now, I kind of blew it off, to be honest with you. I was like, "Okay, great, Moe, thanks for, okay, I believe myself, but show me the grip," or whatever. But in all honesty, as I've gotten older and been teaching this, I understand that a lot more now, because believing in yourself, what it meant was you got to commit. You got to commit to the single plane to really understand this. Plus, you're different. Like the single plane swing is different than most people swing a golf club. So if you don't have confidence and trust what you're doing, you're going to deviate from trying different things all the time. And the questions I see on the channel are often like, "Well, I tried it and it didn't work." Well, I never tried Moe swing. I never even tried it. I committed to it and did it, and then just trusted it and trusted the fact that I would get Moe-like results if I learned it. So I just wanted to kind of start out today by talking psychology a little bit, because it's a commitment to be out there looking different than your friends and having a single plane setup. Not as different as it used to be, because now you got Bryce and DeChambeau and people demonstrating the single plane. But it's still, I know what you feel like out there. So just my suggestion to you is what I did is I never really tried it. I just committed to it, went through the learning process, and now it's been the greatest thing I ever did for my golf game. So today, now that you're kind of mentally prepared, I want to talk about the address position. I'm going to do that with a hammer. And I've talked about the single plane swing being a natural way to move a club. Well, why is it natural? If you look at a lot of other athletic events, sports like baseball and tennis and things like that, you see similarities in the movement of how the body moves, how the racket is held, and things like that. A hammer is a pretty good way to demonstrate why we recommend the club, how it aligns with the arms and the body, and we can actually eliminate an angle, and you can see how we eliminate that angle with a hammer. Let's talk the lead arm first. I know a lot of times I talk trail arm first, but let's talk lead arm first. So we have to do a couple of things to talk about if I'm striking a hammer, a nail in this direction. So a golf swing would actually be hitting something, an object, obviously towards your target. So when I grab the hammer, you're going to see that I'm actually going to swing the hammer, and a couple things have to happen for me to make this hammer swing. I have to take the arm across my body, I have to lift the arm up, and then bring it back to get the hammer square to the target. So you're seeing a rotation develop in the lead arm to produce what? Speed in the hammer and get it back to this position. So we could talk a lot about how the back of the hand is relative to the hammer face, how the hammer sits in the hand and it's actually in the fingers of the hand. That allows the arm to actually rotate the hammer back and then square it up. So really it's a speed producer because it's allowing this angle and this rotation to occur, and that's the natural motion of the lead arm. Well, then we bring the trail hand into play. Now this is pretty interesting because if you're going to hammer a nail in this direction, you'll notice that I can actually make a hammering motion directly in a straight, non-rotational line, just like this. Now, when I turn down the line for you like this, you can see that the hammer is actually, because of the rotation of my hand, the hammer is actually aligned with my arm. See that? So it's moving a non-rotational straight line motion. So that's the hammering motion that I'm looking for in the natural motion of hammering a nail. Now let's put the lead arm on there, and you can see I put the lead arm, which can now rotate across my body, and put the trail hand on there in a non-rotational position, and now you have the absolute most natural, least amount of movement to strike something in the direction of what? Your target. Going down the line again, you can see that hammer is directly aligned with my arm. Now, this arm is above this arm, and you can see now I can make a very straight line hammering motion to strike an object on the ground. That is what I consider a natural motion to strike an object that's sitting on the ground. But here's what happens. It makes no sense, and I like to videotape people's swings, and yesterday had my camera out and I was videotaping a bunch of the players up there. A lot of great players play from have an angle, and that angle is when they take this position, they drop it down here. Now, you've added an angle, and I'm not sitting here telling you that you can't learn to play golf from there, because you can. You can learn to play really good golf with an angle, but why? And I've seen a lot of people have a hard time playing golf from there, especially if they're not tour players that practice all the time, and that's what I call the one mistake. It's when you take this natural alignment, that straight line alignment, and you put an angle in there. And that angle, what it does is it puts an angle in this hand, and it puts this hand on top a lot of times. Now you've created a rotation of this, and you have an angle you've got to deal with. Now I'm going to grab a golf club real quick and show you this. So what did Moe figure out, right? What did Moe figure out? And this is why, when I kind of mentioned you got to believe in yourself, what I'm actually talking about is you have to basically, and I know there's a lot of guys on tour that have great swings and play great golf, and we all look at those guys and we want to model them, but in all honesty, all those guys do different things. They have different grips, different setups. They've all figured out a way to play the game of golf. What I'm telling you in these videos, and obviously on this channel, is why not find the easiest way to do this? Simplify it. And that's what really this whole thing about Moe's swing is about. So I'm going to take this 3-wood and I'm going to put it into a single plane, just like I did that hammer. So you're going to see me hold it into we're going to go into ulnar deviation, which with that hammer, that's what we did. And it creates this alignment of the lead arm and the club that allows me to do that exact same thing with the club as I did the hammer, rotate it and square it up. And then I'm going to bring the trail hand in that non-rotational position underneath. Now you're going to see when I do that I have to tilt, because when you hammer something you'd be in a tilted position, wouldn't you? You wouldn't hammer like this, you hammer that direction like that. So I'm in a tilted position. So the natural way I would hold basically a 36-inch hammer, which is about how long this club is basically a long 36-inch hammer holding the club just like I did that hammer. And now when you see me set up, you get a single plane address position. So you have this alignment of the lead arm, and then you have this alignment of the trail arm. So this is just a 36-inch hammer. Now, what I call the one mistake, if you'll come down the line and take a look at this, what I call the one mistake is when you put an angle in here. So this would be a natural way to hold a 3-foot hammer. But if I do this, right, which most people do this, they put the arms down, they create an angle here, right? But they don't impact here. They impact because the natural forces of the club will create the club lifting up and aligning with what's moving it. So it's going to try to lift. That's why I call most address positions a mistake, because you're spatially having a problem. You're too close to the ball, you got an angle you got to deal with, and that's why on the tour you see a lot of different backswings. You see steep to flat, you see flat to steep, you see people that try to take it straight back. You'll see a lot of variation in movement because they're dealing with an angle here at address. So what I'm telling you to do is eliminate that. The natural thing to do, if I took a stick and wanted to hit that thing on the ground, and I would point the stick at what I'm hitting. Well, now you want to point the stick at what you're hitting. You want to treat the club like a 3-foot hammer, and you want to take the club back, and you just want to hammer a golf ball. So I got the proper space. And so it becomes the natural movement to get the club to impact. This is really, and as Mo would talk to me a lot about, it's about eliminating angles, right? So he would often say, keep it simple, stupid, keep it simple, stupid. And simple is set yourself up for success. There's a 3-foot hammer. I got the proper space. I'm going to swing it back naturally on the plane it's already established. And it makes it easier to do what? Get back down to impact. So let me just finish by saying this. There's a lot of instructors out there that say things like, well, all that matters is impact, right? How good players get through impact. And look, I'm not going to argue with that. They're correct. You have to be good through impact. But the thing I want to say about being good at impact is, what's the easiest way to get through there? Like, what's the easiest position to start from? And from there, what's the easiest way to move the golf club to get to impact? Because if you're having trouble getting to a good impact position, there's a reason for it. Why don't you make it easy on yourself and not make it too complicated? So when you watch Mo swing a club, and there's plenty of Mo videos on my channel, and we'll put some on here, what you're seeing is, it's not idiosyncratic that he stood that distance from the ball. It's not idiosyncratic that he looked like he was reaching for the ball. It's not idiosyncratic that he put the club behind the ball. It's not idiosyncratic in the way he tilted the body. All those things are incredibly important to reducing rotation, eliminating the lift of the body, eliminating movement that's unnecessary, creating non-rotational positions. That, what you see Mo doing, is a natural way and a simple way to get this club into impact. Hey, if you're enjoying this content, give me a thumbs up, click that bell icon, and I'll see you in the next video. We're going to talk about motion and do some motion drills.